What's good, everyone? This is Dev the Coolest,
And this is JB.
and welcome to Slick Talk with a hashtag.
Yay. Yes, sir.
Hey,
Welcome to hashtag Slick Talk. That's right.
hashtag Slick Talk. Hey, y'all, welcome
Let's
back.
go.
Happy Black History Month. We are 3 weeks in Black History, or entering into the third week at this point, but hope
The
you've been
third week of
enjoying.
Black History Month?
Yes.
What's today? Today's the second.
Well, today's the second, but when this comes out, it'll be the third.
Oh, yeah. You're right. I was like, wait a minute. Today's the second.
I like to play into it a little bit, but
Yes.
so happy Black History Month. We hope y'all been enjoying it. I've been seeing, as JB said, this is only the 2nd of February, but seeing so much positivity and love surrounding us within the Black community, and hope you guys are really just vibing out with this month.
Absolutely. It's been beautiful. I feel like it's more so what I've been seeing on social media is more so than I've ever seen before. And I'm like, yes, this is everything. And I call
Yes.
it Black History Year. Okay.
Yeah, right. Do you think it's
Yeah.
because of we'll get into our topic obviously, but do you think it's because we are sitting at home and now we can really just be on social media a little bit more?
I think I think that's one of the reasons. I think another reason is the fact that with everything going on last year with the protest and police brutality and everything, in a sense, it brought us all closer. We're definitely closer. We're starting to know our value. We're starting to be a little bit more united as a people in America, as a Black people. And I feel so damn good about that. This is what I always talk about: is unity within our people. So I'm happy.
No, absolutely. So, and we love to see it. We love to see it. So, okay, now we can move on from that really and go into the topic. But I think it kind of coincides because what we will be talking about is kind of, I guess, personal for both of us, because we're going to be talking about what we see in different ways what life looks like, right?
Yeah.
And that may be what the meaning of life is, what happens after life, life-changing situations, maybe even touch a little bit on trauma. And then we're also going to have an exciting part where we've been waiting for so long for your segment, and it's going to be here in this episode. So do you want to talk? Well, we'll talk about it when we get to it.
We'll talk about it when we get to it. But I'm pretty sure people have an idea of what I'm going to be talking about, because I've talked about it before in a little bit.
Yes. Okay. So what we're going to do, you guys, is we're going to bounce. This is not new for people that have been listening to us, but we like to bounce questions back and forth to each other, pick each other's brains. So we're going to bounce some questions back and forth. We're both answering each question this episode, and we'll just go from there. This is pretty much a free conversation.
Yeah. And after the questions, we're gonna in a sense kind of shoot the shit that involves this topic. So
exactly. And y'all get into it too. I mean, we can't physically hear y'all, but we want y'all to think about it at the very least.
What's really great that I thought about last episode is that some of the questions that we ask, and I'm not trying to say, oh, use our question, trying to be like we're asking the question that you can't come up with. But some of the questions that we asked are like conversational starters amongst friends or family in general. So like Dev was saying, definitely listen to the episode, listen to the conversation. And if you think that's a dope question, definitely let us know what you think about it as well in our DMs on our page. But then you can also take those same questions and ask them to your friends and family. So
yes, absolutely. Okay, I'll start first. Okay. So the first question for both of us, and you'll answer first, is how is your life going up to this point?
Whew, child, that's a loaded question. So I would say that it's up and down. It has its ups and downs. I'm definitely thankful and grateful for the place that I am right now in my life. And I always say that I'm blessed because I know that the trajectory of my life could have went a whole different other way, and I could have been in a whole other situation. So up to this point, I would say, I've been blessed. It could have been worse. It could have been better. But I'm definitely thankful for where I'm at, and I'm thankful for the life lessons that I've learned along the way.
Yeah, I agree and concur with that. Same for the most part. Like my life, I am grateful for my life overall. Am I where I thought I would be at 30, turning 31 at the end of February? You know what I'm saying? Do I feel like I'm where I visualize myself to be? Absolutely not. But I think the beauty in life is the journey and
Yeah.
learning and not putting all that pressure on me to have certain things at a certain age, right? I've been seeing a lot of posts lately, like on Facebook and Instagram. It was like 1994 babies. We're about to be 27. Oh my goodness! And it's like, baby,
Okay. Like, are you kidding
27.
me?
Listen, the 40 in my eyes, maybe they got to wait till they get to 30 to realize this, but 40 in my eyes is still extremely young. Like
Yeah.
I get in certain aspects, like age plays a factor with regard to having children and stuff like that, right? But
Hmm.
overall, in the grand scheme of life, like being 30 is not old. And I think what needs to, or the rhetoric should be, is that you should know better by 30, but you're not
I
going to
agree.
be like perfect at 30.
I agree.
You take your 20s to learn. But long answer to a short question, um
Hmm.
I do like how my life is going at this point, and I wouldn't change anything
Nice.
at all, from the depression to the great times. Like
Yeah.
everything has happened for a reason.
Yeah, and I mean, just a little bit to piggyback and jump back to what you're talking about. Yeah, I think what drives me and what motivates my mind and how I move now at the age I am right now, 34, is having more perspective, right? So I do understand the fact that like I am a young black man, I'm a young black gay man. So like the odds are already stacked against me. Like I could be technically statistically, I could be in jail right now. I could be in prison. I could be dead. I could be in a gang. I could, have diseases. I could be kicked out of my home. Like there's so many things that, we face as black men and as black people, and odds that are stacked against us for just being born, that I look at that and I look at what could be. And then I look at where I'm at and I'm like, listen, I am fine. Like,
Yeah,
I am grateful. I am thankful. And I know that people are going through worse and I pray for them. But right now I can, focus on and be grateful is the fact that I'm here, I'm present, and I'm alive. So yeah.
absolutely. I
So
agree with
me,
you.
that's the next question, right? Let
Yeah,
me
uh-huh.
see. I think my question will be, what do you think? We can both answer this question, obviously, but what do you think happens after life?
Oh,
Ooh.
well, it's so funny. I was just having this conversation the other day with my dude,
Mm,
and I do believe something has to happen after life. What it is exactly, is it's heaven or hell? I don't know. Does our energy
mm,
go to a different planet? I don't know, but energy doesn't die. Like, I
yeah.
don't feel like our energy will ever die, or any of our ancestors. We feel things sometimes, like we sense things, we notice things. Like, I know
Yeah.
those people that there's this girl I went to middle school with, kind of random, but she was saying how, while it may or may not be correlated with the death of her grandfather, there was a bird that sat on the shed the whole time of the celebration of his life. The
Oh,
whole time
wow.
it was there. And, maybe, may, I don't know. But I do feel like our energy transfers to something, especially if
Yeah.
you're on a high frequency, a high vibration frequency. Now, if you low, I don't know. But I
Yeah.
do think I can't say that there's something specific that will happen after life, but I do think our energies transfer somewhere. What about you?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely agree with that aspect. In addition to that, I agree. I believe that our legacy lives on. As I get older, I'm starting to believe and kind of like have this passion for legacy and what is left after we're gone. So I don't know specifically, just like you said, if there's a heaven or a hell, or if we're transformed into a different animal or a different person, or what the case may be. But I know that what still is present in life after we're gone is our legacy and what we leave behind to our family and our children and, people that, were in our corner and that we care about the most. So, I mean, at this point right now, that's what I'm focused on. I don't have kids right now. I have a nephew, but I'm definitely trying to set a foundation so that when I'm no longer here, because we all have a time, when I'm no longer here, my family, my nephew, and hopefully my kids eventually will have something to, say, oh, my dad worked hard for that and he left us this, or, oh, my dad built this and, everybody gets to experience it, or my dad wrote this and everybody gets to read it, or my dad said this on a podcast and everybody gets to listen to it. So that's what I'm focused on. I definitely am a spiritual person, and I believe in God and everything like that, but I feel like what I have control over slightly, because God is in control of everything, but what I have control over slightly is making sure that I set a foundation and legacy for people that come after me.
Absolutely. And I kind of chuckle because I'm thinking like, oh, what am my great grandkids gonna hear me saying half of this stuff?
Listen, I mean, they'll be young just like us.
Right. We said some great profound things, I believe, too. But I'm just saying, I'm thinking about some of the conversations we had with regard to masturbation and first time sex and elementary
school. I mean, we're human. We still young. They gonna know what they gonna know what we talking about when they start going through it.
It's beautiful to be transparent, though.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm not going to tell my kids everything, but I'm going to be as transparent as possible. I would like them to understand that being human is being human, right?
That's what life is about.
Absolutely. And something you said about legacy, which really stuck out as well, or made something stick out in my mind, is that rest in peace, Cicely Tyson. She recently passed away. But Viola Davis said something beautiful, that basically you're not dead until the last person forgets, like the last person that's alive that remembers you is gone.
Exactly.
And Cicely Tyson has a foundation of work that's going to live on forever, right? And point of legacy, like, I think that spirit of someone, so long as you've made a positive impact, maybe even a negative impact, but if you made a positive impact on this world, you will live forever with
absolutely in
our minds.
Absolutely. And that's why I'm grateful for this platform, grateful for this podcast, because if I don't do anything else, at least I can say, well, I did that. If iTunes is still around, Apple Podcast still around, by the time my great grandchildren, turn old, y'all can look back and say, hey, my great grandfather was on a podcast talking about dicks and sex. Let's be clear. I was talking about Kamala Harris too, being the first Black and Pacific Asian female woman vice president. So we have a long list of things we talk about.
Yeah, I'm sure YouTube will be around too for a long time. Like YouTube has so much.
What could replace YouTube?
Right.
Like
at this point, you can't replace YouTube. Like YouTube has so much stuff on it that you can't get rid of it. Okay, so I have the next question. So far, what important life lessons have you learned to date? And I use lessons in plural, so you can say more than one or
I mean, there have been so many, but we would be on this Zoom call for a whole day. And I can be long-winded as well. So I'll probably say about like 2 or 3. One that sticks out to mind. And the reason why this one comes to mind first is because my aunt said it to me when I was a very, very low point in my life. And she actually just passed away last year. So rest in peace to Lottie. But what she told me is always pay what you owe. Right. She told me to always pay what you owe. Don't be in debt to anyone. Always give people what they give you. And I've been in some experiences like that where, I've borrowed money or something and I wasn't able to pay it back at that time and just brushed it off. And you know how some people, bless their hearts, they don't heckle you for money. You know what I'm saying? They don't, text you or call you and be like, what's up with my $50? You owe me $50. And it's not their responsibility to, it's ours. They loaned us the money. They were grateful. They were gracious enough to loan us money. So it's our responsibility to pay it back and pay it back in a sufficient amount of time. And that just builds up a rapport and honesty amongst you and people that, you trust enough to ask, can you borrow some money, or can you borrow this, or can they, help you with this? So that's one life lesson that I always stick true and remember. Another one, if I can think real fast on my feet, is treat others how you want to be treated. Honestly, I'm not perfect in that. Literally, I'm not perfect in that. I'm so imperfect when it comes to that, but it's something that I strive for, and it's something that I work towards. And as long as I'm doing that, I feel like I'm in a good position. But I definitely use that life lesson across the board, like especially when it comes to friends and family. Like I have this thing of holding certain friends and even associates and family members, and I hold them to a certain expectation. And that expectation is simply how I treat them. You know what I'm saying? That is nothing more than that. It's like, if I treat you like this, and if I do this for you, I just expect it to be done the same way back, or done back. And I understand that, not everybody picks up that vibe of, oh, he's doing this for me and he's this type of person, so maybe I should reciprocate that. A lot of people are like, me, and he'll be okay and blah, blah, blah. But what I'm understanding is that, listen, my happiness, a lot of my happiness has to do with the people that I surround myself with. So if the people that I surround myself with can't treat me the way I deserve to be treated and the way that I'm treating them, then they deserve not to be in my damn life. Okay. Period. So that's one of the lessons I learned. And then I can't think of a third one. I'll let you go. And if I think of something, I'll come back to it.
Yeah, if something does come to you, definitely interject. But what I was going to say to your first point, I agree with that. Pay what you owe, right? And with that, if you are the one that is lending out, don't expect to get it back. Because definitely, it's personality that I need my coin back. Like, I'm here to help you, but I need my shit back. Yeah. Like, I understand that. But one thing that I talked about in the Minute of Wellness a few episodes ago is that if you are giving more than you have, then you're giving that person permission to steal from you. You're allowing that person, knowingly or unknowingly, to steal from you, right? And so if you don't have it, don't do it. Like I'm quick. It's easy for me to say no, which is something we're going to talk about in a later Minute of Wellness. No is a complete sentence, right? If you don't have it, just say no, but don't expect to get, goddamn dog, don't expect to get it back if you don't have it. Like, just do it out of the kindness of your heart. And if they give it back, they give it back. If you don't think they're going to give it back, don't do it in the first place.
And it's crazy because, sorry, sidebar, to your point, Jada Pinkett, after he actually said that, shout out to Jada Pinkett. She said, I don't lend money. I don't lend people money because, people may not pay me back, and we can have a fallout on money. She says, if I have it to give, I'll give people money. And then something also, I know this is not to the point, but something that she also said, which stood out to me, is that she would never give someone something that they can't sustain themselves. I'm paraphrasing, but she said people ask her all the time, and her family and friends, oh, can you buy me a house? She's like, I'm not gonna buy you a house and you don't got a job. You're not gonna be able to upkeep this house. Right. So she gives people, I forget what she says, and I hopefully I'll post this to our page on Instagram, but she gives people what she doesn't expect back, and she doesn't give people things that she doesn't believe that they'll be able to sustain, in other words. But
that's beautiful too. I didn't know she said that. That's just something that
in other words, I was paraphrasing, I fucked it up, but that's essentially what she said.
I didn't know that. Like, my mom and my aunt taught me that growing up, like, so a few things. And like I said, if you think of a third thing, please say it whenever you think of it, or hold it and say it. But two things that stick out really big in my mind is that one, we are all human beings and no one is better than anybody else, period. Like and I'm sure you've even seen it with me, like I will treat in what looks like society's eyes, the lowest of the low, as great as I would treat somebody that's a billionaire or somebody that has power and influence. Like we are all human beings. We all have emotions. We all feel. So I look at everyone the same. Yes, you may have a higher status in certain aspects, but I have higher statuses in other aspects that you may not think about, right? But that doesn't mean shit.
Yeah.
We're all human beings. And another thing that I always say is that believe someone the first time. Like when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. And a caveat to that, though, is that I do believe people can grow and change. So you have to allow people that space to do that. And if they're showing that they're doing the active work to change, like let them do it and kind of, you don't have to implement yourself in that change, but let them do it and be like, okay, I see where you are now. But when it comes to someone treating you a certain way, believe them the first time, because they 9 times out of 10 knew what they were doing from jump.
And there's a quote that says that. I think, was it Maya Angelou? Yeah, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. Yeah, that's deep. I definitely can appreciate that. That's a dope one.
Yeah, and your credit matters.
Okay.
That's the
listen. Ooh. Ooh.
Baby, I got denied a COVID relief loan, which within itself is like, okay, if it's COVID relief, I shouldn't be getting denied from it because I need it. But I got denied that because of some stuff on my credit from years ago. Like, I'm like, well, that I was 23. What are you denying me for that now? But your credit matters, y'all. Unfortunately, this is the capitalism that we live in. And
that's a whole conversation to have too, because I have some theories when it comes to credit and, how they have that in our society and everything like that in America. But I do want to mention one last thing that came to mind, and then we can move on. It's not going to be too long, but it's something that I've literally learned recently and I've been trying to utilize is leading with love. You know what I'm saying? On my profile, we talked about this on the podcast before. For the longest, I literally went into a lot of the situations kind of being open-minded and just kind of being shut in and guarded because I naturally just don't trust people's intentions. It's a skeptic in me, but moving forward,
understandably.
Yeah. So like at this point in my life, though, I've noticed that, I feel better with myself whenever the situation ends or, at the end of whatever happens, knowing that to begin the situation, my intention was pure and honest and authentic. And I was leading with love. Like I showed you love. I was, caring to you, everything that like subcategories that go under love. It just makes me feel better as a person. If something falls out or if something, doesn't work out, I'm like, well, I started it off the best I could. I led with love. So that's all I can do. So that's a life lesson I learned not too long ago. And I've been utilizing that and practicing that pretty often. So.
No, absolutely. And well, a few more things. Come on, y'all. If y'all not looking at us on YouTube, y'all don't see our actual faces and our interaction with you. So if y'all just hearing this, y'all probably like, well, goddamn, y'all, they just go.
Well, listen, we're shooting it.
But what I want to say is checking your intention. Yes. In addition to that, like checking your intention, that's something that I've really grown to learn and understand. You can't expect anything from anyone besides yourself. You're the only person you should expect anything from, because you're going to be disappointed if you expect someone else to reflect what you would do in a certain situation. You know what I'm saying?
And to push back on that, though, I do still do that. And there's people that probably share both of our sides of opinions. I do still expect, certain things from people because there's just no passes. Like if expecting respect from someone, that's not a far cry. You know, expecting honesty from your partner, that's something, you know, that you need to be expecting, because people need to be expecting. And granted, I get your point. A lot of the times we are let down, but I feel that expectations, when we set expectations for people in our lives like that, it kind of like makes you stay strong in your beliefs of what you deserve. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm expecting somebody to respect me as a friend or as a partner, then I'm not going to allow them to just walk over and do random ass shit, because in the beginning of my head, I set at that expectation that nobody is going to walk over me, and everybody that I come in contact with is going to respect me. So any type of little thing that I deem as disrespect, I notice it because I set that expectation in the beginning, and get the fuck out of my face. So I get your point though. And you know, both people are going to agree with both sides, but I just want to say that.
No, I agree with your side too. There is the basic human nature that has to, or just compassion and understanding, right? Or even just communication with what your expectations are in someone else. Like once that happens, then from that point, you know, you kind of just let it play its course. But yeah, I expect my partner to not cheat on me. I expect somebody to be to work on time. I expect I don't know, you know, there's certain things obviously that we should expect from someone just out of basic human decency. However, like with tasks and you know things like that, like
I'm not really focused on those things, tasks and stuff.
Right. I've had to come to understand, like, even if it is done, it may not be done in a way that I necessarily would have done it myself. So I had to understand that, okay, I had to let go of that expectation. So I think what we're saying is one in it can coincide, you know.
Absolutely.
In the
do we want to sorry.
Last thing before we go into your segment, because we're going to break away now for your segment. But the last thing I want to say, because you said lead with love with it, which is beautiful, and it's your IG thing. Mine is believe in yourself. And
for the longest,
be in you. That I have said that to myself since I was in high school. I don't know why that wasn't the first thing that came to my head. Believe in yourself, and also be you. Like, be yourself authentically and believe in it, and just present the best foot forward. Like, people are going to love it regardless. Like Charlamagne said, he said a rule of 10, which he probably got from something else. It's going to be 3 people that like what you do, 3 people that hate what you do, and 4 people that are on the fence about it. So
exactly,
just you believe in yourself and do your thing regardless. So anyway, boom.
And I actually said that. I know I always have a little extra in addition, but I actually said that on my page, and I basically not exactly believe in yourself. I've seen that on your profile for the longest. So yeah, I just noticed that as well. But what I said on my page recently is, if you don't believe in yourself or your talents or what you bring to the table, how the fuck can you expect someone else to believe in it? Period. How the fuck can you expect somebody else to believe in your talents and who you are as a person if you don't believe it inside? Okay. Period. So yeah.
But yeah, okay. So we'll that was great though. I love that look, because we can go on and on about life lessons. We're 30 plus. We got some lessons under our belt. But
let's be clear.
You want to go ahead and introduce your segment that I'm excited about?
Yes. So for those that have been following the podcast and listening to the podcast, I'm pretty sure you all have learned that I have an unconditional love for traveling. So my segment is going to be called Traveling with JB.
Yes.
Yo, what's up? It's your boy JB from #SlickTalk, and welcome to my first segment of Traveling with JB. Hey! So let's get straight to it. As many of you probably already know, I love traveling. Like, my love for traveling is unconditional. It started off at a young age, and then now as an adult, it's actually become kind of therapeutic for me. I mean, being in a new environment, meeting new people, doing things you've never done before, trying new food. I mean, I can literally go on. It's so refreshing. That's why I'm here to encourage everyone, but specifically Black people, to travel more. I know times are tough and can be tough, or life just doesn't make it easy for us to travel. But trust me when I say that seeing the world would change your life dramatically for some. So make time. Also, some may say, well, what can I possibly get out of traveling? I don't care to see anywhere else. And my answer would be the experience, okay? Obviously, everybody's experiences will be different, but my belief is that positive experiences like this are what motivates us to do more, to be more. It's just my thought. I'll be talking about more traveling and my experiences while traveling on this podcast and in this segment when it's my turn from time to time. But if you want to follow my journey and hopefully get encouraged to travel or do more traveling, please follow me at JB Travels on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, or even YouTube. Eventually, I'll be posting these videos up on YouTube. So please, again, let's get out and see the world. Let's get out and experience new things. Let's get out and meet new people. You know, we only have one life to live. This world is so huge. So let's go out and do it. Let's get it. Let's go on this journey together. All right, y'all. Thanks for taking the time to listen to Traveling with JB, my first ever segment. And I hope you guys tune in for the next one that I have where I'll be giving tips, where I'll be giving advice, where I'll be talking about my experiences in different countries, where I'll be letting you know what's the best thing to do out of Airbnbs or hotels. Listen, I'm going to go on, and I hope you guys can learn something. I hope you guys could get encouraged and motivated to travel. All right, y'all, that's it. Have a good one.
Yes, JB. Thank you for that Traveling with JB segment. I learned something. You've been around the world way more than me, so I
calm down. Not that much. Not that much. Calm down.
I've been around the country, but I haven't been around the world as much as I would like to be, at least. So I'm looking forward to hearing more about your thoughts and your experiences and your expertise, just from your experience. So
thank you. I can't wait to share them. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get into, you know, the last question of like the question back and forth type of thing. And then, you know, if we want to talk about anything else in regards to this, then we'll move forward in that. So my question would be, if tomorrow was your last day to live, what would you do?
Ooh.
If tomorrow was your last day to live and be alive, they told you today's your last day, but you were healthy and you looked good and everything. You were capable of doing everything. What would you do on your last day?
Ooh, that's kind of heavy. And it'd just be my last day, not like the last day of the world.
Just your last day.
Oh, that's kind of sad.
It's heavy, but it's something that a lot of people face a lot of the time. It's sad.
We are going to have that day, unfortunately, but
we're not going to know. God willing, we won't know. I don't want to know personally. That's actually a sub question. Would you want to know what your last day was? Exactly.
I wouldn't, but that's why it's so important in my mind, to just live every day
like it was your last.
Like it's your last. And tell people, not even necessarily like being a daredevil and going out and doing a whole bunch of crazy, reckless shit. Like telling the people that you love them. Like, you know, talking to people. When somebody comes to your mind, reach out to them, even if it's just a text. I love sending voice memos, as you know.
You've been doing that a lot, child. I'm like, what is this?
Voice memos be about 2 minutes long every time. Yeah. But, you know, I like doing stuff like that. I mean, to everyone, only because, you know, as I'm getting older, I'm recognizing that, not to make this dark, but death is getting closer and closer. From the day we were born, we're closer to death than being born anyway. But it's, you know,
it's a reality. It's
but anyway,
reality. So hypothetically speaking, and hopefully we don't ever get to this point, I put my little energy, positive energy and good vibes to both of us. Hypothetically speaking, if tomorrow was your last day, what would you do?
I would definitely take everyone that I love that's still around, that's still here with me, all of us, and we're gonna have a day, like just turn up. It won't be a drunken day because I want to be sober on my last day of living, or a high day. I mean, if that's what they want to do, they can do it. But for me, I just want to be in that moment. Maybe, I don't know, go somewhere exclusive and just private, and maybe the Maldives, and just have some, or Greece or something. I don't know, Africa, maybe, somewhere in Africa, in West Africa, just to go back to where my ancestors were from and have the last day be there, and just have a fun turn up, like not worrying about anything. just enjoying each other's company. Everybody enjoying my company, because after today, y'all ain't gonna see me no more. So y'all better love me. Okay.
Period. That part.
I think that I just really would just want to be surrounded with people that I love and love me back and turn up.
I feel that. I completely feel that.
Definitely have sex.
Definitely. I mean, of course, and definitely eat. Nah, I can appreciate that. Hopefully, I'm one of those people, child. But you see the hair flip. Hopefully, I'm one of those people. But for me, I think first of all, I'm really not a big planner, and I'm not very. I guess I don't schedule too many things. I'm trying to get better at it, but I would definitely schedule and plan for that whole day down to the minute. So I would wake up in the morning, wake up and eat a fat meal. I'm not gonna go details because then I think about shit. So I'm just gonna say I definitely want to eat. I definitely want to have sex. Spend time with those that matter the most. Like same thing that you were talking about. But also the pettiness in me, Mr. Petty. The pettiness in me definitely wants to go and check those that I didn't like throughout life. Like I'm like, well, fuck you. This is what I think about you. Fuck you. You're cool. Just the person in me. I'm like, listen, I'm not. Listen, it would be nice to hear me say, "Oh, kumbaya," and I'm going out with love. But to be honest with you, if I'm taking out a game and I know I'm going, there's going to be a few fuck yous. I never liked you. Give me this. A lot of that, but definitely most of it, 95% of it will be spending time with my family and, my dude and my nephew and those that love me the most, and eating and partying and turning up and crying because I'm a crier.
Right. Yeah. So. I'm gonna be crying, child. All right, I would be. Not I'm going to be like it's going.
I know. Can we stop? Okay, actually, let's move on because this is a little deep.
It is a little dark. I think
it's a little deep. I don't want to think about that
reality. It is a reality. Yeah. I think the purpose of coming into this episode is that we wanted to speak life.
Yeah,
but, that is.
But you can't speak life without speaking about death.
Yeah,
in a sense,
it's the inevitable.
So, it is the inevitable.
Okay, so this one is maybe kind of taboo, but it's always asked. Last question, at least that I have. What is the meaning of life?
The meaning of life to me?
Yes, to you.
Oh yeah, I was just saying out loud. The meaning of life to me, to be honest with you, is love. It's crazy. I mean, and what I mean by that is that I feel like we are here to give love and to receive love. So I feel like that for me specifically, I personally feel like love is a huge motivator in my life. I feel like when you're a child and you have a supporting family, God willing for those that have that, when you have a supportive family that nourishes you with love and loves on you and everything like that, I would hope and I would think that it turns you into a person that gives that love right back. So the meaning of life to me, I'm not going to get too deep. I'm just going to say that I think it's love. I think we're placed on this earth to love one another, to show love, to give love back, and to live in our purpose. Actually, in addition to that, I would say live in our purpose. And a lot of us go through life not really knowing what our purpose is because of a lot of circumstances and things that are distracting us from that. Unfortunately, it hurts me to say that because I feel like, and I'm not going to go on a tangent, but I feel like there's a lot of people that have so much potential. And I'm not trying to discredit where they're at right now, but a lot of people have so much potential, but because of life circumstances and because of their environment, they're stuck in that same environment, not knowing their potential. There is so many people I've ran into, throughout my life, and I'm not old, but there's certain people I've run into throughout my life that are great singers, that are great musicians, that could have been an attorney, that could have been the fucking president. Mm-hmm. But because of life circumstances in their environment, it held them back. If you just think about, just think about people that are in gangs that grow up in, like, let's say certain parts of LA that are in gangs, and that's all they knew. Their mom and dad were in a gang, and then they turned out to have friends that were in a gang. That's all they know. So my last thing I would say is I think we need to show a little bit more sympathy for people that take a different trajectory of life and that don't fully be on the path that we believe they can be. And I said all that just to say, be a little bit more sympathetic to people that are not where we possibly believe they should be, because a lot of even though we don't, where we believe they should be doesn't matter. But I know we're imperfect. So a lot of them like, oh, you could be doing this, or I run into family members of like, you could have been a doctor, or you could have been a basketball player. So I think it's important to just be a little bit more sympathetic to those that are in that space. We can see the potential in them, but be sympathetic, because a lot of people, because of circumstances in their environment, don't make it to that point. So that's it. Just purpose. I went on a tangent after naming purpose, but purpose and love.
And love. Mm-hmm. And I agree with both of those. I think for me, in addition to that, I'm one of those people that believe that my meaning of life changes. It changes as I get older, right? Like, because if we want to ask the question specifically, which maybe that can be a second question, we'll go back to you if you have a different answer. What is your overall meaning of life? Like, my answer to that would be to constantly evolve, to continue to learn, to continue to grow, to not remain stagnant. And I think so many of us have been conditioned to think that when we hear what is the purpose or meaning of life for you, we immediately, because of how we're raised in America, go specifically to like a career, like, oh, I need to be a philanthropist. That's my meaning, that's my calling. And it's like, okay, if you find that is dope and that's amazing. I'm not belittling it, but I like to think of it in a broader sense of like, I am on this earth for a reason, but the reason why I was on the earth when I was born versus the reason why I'm on the earth now at 30, I think they're two completely different things, right? Because I know, just quick example, when I was born, to be frank, for my mother's survival, because she tells me all the time, if she didn't have me, she doesn't know if she would be alive. Like her mother passed away 2 months after I was born. My grandfather wasn't really in her life. He was in my life, but he wasn't really in her life. So, I feel that was my meaning of life at that moment. But now at 30 years old, while yes, me and my mother still have this very strong bond and connection, she's doing her thing, so my meaning in life right now is to not be here for her survival anymore. It's for my survival, and to continue to grow and understand and learn and experience and go through the things that I'm going through. But yes, I think the meaning of life will definitely change, like maybe even next year, maybe tomorrow, my meaning of life would change.
Yeah.
I just don't want to stay stagnant in that. But I do agree with you. Like, I as humans, I believe that we are here for each other.
Yeah.
We're social people. We need to love each other. We need to be here and support each other in the best ways possible.
So, absolutely. And I appreciate you sharing that too, because I think a lot of people, share that same experience, being young. And, I think about a story of a friend, and not to go too on, but I think of a story of a friend that said that his mom was young, and I'm not going to mention him, but he said that his mom was young, and, she accidentally got pregnant. It wasn't planned. She was like 16 years old. It wasn't planned, and she was already doing bad. She was on drugs and not in school. But as soon as she had him, as soon as she got pregnant, she didn't have an abortion like she wanted to. She ended up having him. She ended up going back to school. She ended up going to college. She ended up becoming a doc. Like, it's just like, you literally changed the trajectory of your mother's life. Was that like, if any, and then also what I think about is that who's to say that that just one simple thing, that we do in our life that was our purpose or our meaning to be here wasn't enough or wasn't the actual purpose. And, we could just pass away and say we served our purpose. Like, if I were to God forbid, pass away tomorrow, like we just discussed, I wouldn't know obviously what my purpose was, but I know that I have done things in my life that have been, good to people and good to the environment and good to the world. So if one person can say, oh, like for example, I think of my nephew. I've been in a position where I've been raising him, helping raise him and upbring him and stuff because his father's not in the picture. So if I pass away and, my nephew says, I appreciate that my uncle was here at one point because he helped raise me. He turned me into this man. He got me through school and everything like that. I'm fine with that being my purpose. Right. So, yeah, I think of it like that as well.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And it's, I just would implore everyone on this final thought to not put so much pressure on yourself to know your purpose and meaning in life. Definitely be ambitious. Definitely, reach your goals. If you have something that you want to do in life, definitely do it. I'm not saying like sit back and be lazy and don't do that. However, when it comes to a meaning and a purpose in life, like I think it really just comes down to the fundamental things. And hindsight is 2020.
Mm-hmm.
We, as you were just saying, JB, like we might not ever really truly know what our purpose was on this earth. And I don't know if we would know this after we pass away, but it won't maybe come to light until after we pass away.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's the impact. That's why you were here on this earth. That's why this happened in the way it did. And I also encourage people to just look at their life up to this point and the things that you've gotten through and the things that you've done and the things that you've experienced and how up to this point you've been purposeful. Like you are here for a reason. You've impacted, I'm sure, so many people in so many different ways, whether that have been good for I know I was toxic for some people in the past, but they probably had to learn through.
Exactly.
But that was my purpose in their life.
And also the last thing I'll say too is don't think that it has to be like a huge type of thing. Like I gave an example of me being there for my nephew and everything and me being proud of that moment. But I also believe that it can be something as simple as you getting up from your seat on the bus and letting an older lady or a woman that's pregnant or somebody that's disabled sit down in that seat. Right. That literally could have been the moment in your life where you served a purpose. That was the meaning of life. You changed the way that person looked down on life. Oh, this youngster really got up and let me sit in this chair. So it could be something it could be something of you having a simple conversation with a friend and you don't know that friend was planning on taking their life the next day. Let me be clear. It doesn't have to be big. It does not have to be big. And just like Dev said, it does not have to be something that you need to put pressure on yourself. You don't have to pressure yourself to find your purpose or find the meaning. Just live life as you live it. And I'm sure we'll all reach that point. Okay. Yeah.
And constantly check that, like we said earlier, check that intention. That's important.
Yes.
But, yes. Yeah, just keep on living, y'all. We good.
That's all we could do.
Good.
That's all we can do.
And young, and me and JB are black. I know all the listeners aren't black.
Black as fuck, okay?
Yeah. So, did you have anything else you wanted to say?
No, that's it. I'm happy we had these. Like I always say, I'm always happy that we had these conversations. But let's be clear, that's not something that I just say just to fill up time. That's something I say because, to be clear, me and Dev are intentional with the conversation that we have. We don't try to just talk about, and I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. We don't try to just talk about things that are relevant in pop culture or relevant in politics or relevant in our community. We talk about everything because conversations matter and words matter. So we need to have these type of conversations. I'm happy that we had this conversation specifically. I've learned a lot about you. I've learned a lot about myself because I be speaking. I'll be like, wait a minute, did I just say that? Makes sense. But yeah, so that's all. That's all.
And you guys, as we wrap it up, like I think mutually our intention behind having this episode right now, it's difficult. It's still difficult right now. And it could be hard to find reasons to move on and live. You may feel purposeless right now, but there is always a lesson in this situation. So don't put pressure on yourself. We're good. We have life to live, and keep on pushing. But we love y'all.
We here for y'all.
Yes, we're here for y'all. Comment, subscribe.
I ain't lending nobody money, but we here from y'all. We here for y'all.
Oh yeah, I'm on unemployment. You ain't getting.
Oh, bloopity, saparacaka.
Like I said earlier, no is a complete sentence. So if you ask me for coin, no.
No. I know that's right. But I do need $20. No, I'm just kidding.
But yes, we love y'all. See y'all next week. And you know, oh, if you're on YouTube, subscribe. Shit, if you anywhere, subscribe. But we listen.
Yes.
We on YouTube and stuff, y'all. So
subscribe, like, comment, all that.
All of that good stuff. But anyway, we love y'all. Have a good week. Take care.
Cheers.
Good day.
Peace.